And we're back. Well,
Sure.
Toby's back. He wasn't here
Whole
for
gang is back.
the whole gang is back. Exactly. The whole gang is back. I think this is what? Episode 16? 15, I think. I think it's 15. I don't
Yeah.
want to mix it up. Yeah, it's 15. I got it on the rundown. What am I saying? Well, there's a lot of news that happened this week. But since Toby was not on our show for our trade deadline special, that was just Justin and I. You can go watch that if you want. But Toby, I mean, there's a lot of trades that happened. What was your favorite, I guess, of the whole deadline? What do you think? Who do you think improved the most? What do you think? What do you think?
I liked. I don't know how I felt about the Bulls. I'll just start off with that. Getting Vucevic. I kind of like how they're pushing all in, but at the same time, they're like, I think the last time I checked, they were like 18 and 20 something. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But my favorite trade that happened, I guess the trade that I think will improve this team the most. And Jorie, I think you'll like this. I think you'll agree with me.
I know where this is going.
Aaron Gordon.
Yes, sir.
To the Nuggets, I think.
Yes, sir.
Might not have the biggest impact in terms of like the trade, but I think that trade had the biggest impact in terms of positive influence, if that makes any sense. I think that Aaron Gordon is just a perfect fit with all the guys that have already been playing with each other for so long. I mean, he does have some playoff experience, not a whole lot, but that's definitely something that he can bring to the Nuggets. And I think I just think he's the perfect piece alongside of Jokic, because Jokic is such a great passer and he has such great vision, while Gordon is a guy that will cut to the rim a lot. His shooting is a lot better than it has been in previous years. He can really shoot the three now. So ultimately, I think this trade puts the Nuggets right up there with the Suns and the Clippers and all those other teams that I don't think they were competing with before.
Yeah, I mean, Justin basically said that same exact thing on our show. He was like, I think this is the smartest move of the whole deadline in terms of, it might not be the best player that got traded. You would probably have to say that's Vucevic to the Bulls, but
really,
in terms of fit, I mean, you think there's a better player that got traded, Justin?
Oladipo, yeah. I think Oladipo is a better.
Nah, I don't know.
And I think that Oladipo getting traded to the Heat is like a better move for the Heat than the Bulls trading for Vucevic.
I mean, I think right now, the immediate impact Oladipo will have on the Heat is probably going to be more felt. But I think the Bulls just set themselves up for like the future. Like they might not make the playoffs even this year, just because the East has been pretty stacked. But like moving forward next year, you got third year Kobe White, Zach LaVine, who's just made an All-Star game, Patrick Williams, who looks, I mean, really solid as a rookie, and everyone says he has like crazy high potential. And then Vucevic, like that's a really, really solid core moving forward. And who knows, maybe the Heat fizzle out over the next couple of years. Chicago could be back at the top of the East in a few years. We'll see. We'll see.
Interesting. You think they're going to make the playoffs this year?
I think they can. I think they'll make the play-in game, but I don't think they'll win and get into the playoffs.
I mean, we'll talk about all these. Honestly, we'll like at the end of the show, because we have a segment at the end of the show where we'll talk about all the Eastern Conference teams. Really.
Okay,
So
good, because
we'll save that for then. We'll save that conversation for later. But Aaron Gordon plays tonight, I think, because the Nuggets have a game against the Hawks. Pretty sure.
Vucevic and the Bulls just lost to the Spurs last night.
Really?
Yeah.
That's another thing. I'm just gonna wait. I don't even want to talk about the Bulls because I feel like I'll have a lot to say in the end. But we can just go right into some of the biggest news that happened recently. That being LeBron James suffering a high right ankle sprain against the Hawks 8 days ago. Solomon Hill just landed on his ankle pretty awkwardly, and it looked bad. And LeBron, he's expected to miss several weeks of action, while his all-star teammate Anthony Davis also remains out with a calf strain. So the Lakers, they went 1-3 in the 4 games following their matchup with the Hawks, with their only win coming against the Cavs at home. Cavs, not the best team, so I don't know if that's really that win really means that much. But their upcoming schedule is going to be way tougher than like anything they faced all season. So losing LeBron and AD at this time is just the worst possible thing, because they face Giannis in Milwaukee at home on Wednesday, and then they have a 7-game road trip, which is the longest road trip of the season for them. Against, I didn't look exactly at all their teams, but a lot of them are above 500. So it's not going to be easy for Los Angeles, especially without those two. So with that said, the Lakers, I believe they're 4th in the Western Conference right now. Could we see them competing in the play-in tournament? That being, 7th, 8th seed, even maybe 9, 10. I don't think they're going to fall all the way down to 9, 10, but they could definitely fall a few spots. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll be that low in the standings by the end of the season?
I don't think it matters where they are at the end of the regular season. I think if you have LeBron and AD even at like 80% health for the playoffs, you got to look at them as a top 3 seed. LeBron's carried way, way worse teams to the finals. So if he could even get to the playoffs, it's LeBron James. What do you like? There's nothing you can do. You're not stopping him.
But the thing
personally,
go ahead, Dope. Go ahead.
I was gonna say personally, I would love to see them in a playoff or in a play-in tournament, just because. First of all, I feel like they definitely do need LeBron and AD to get anywhere in the playoffs, not just exclusively one of those two. But if I don't know, there's a lot of games left, and the Western Conference this year is very good. So I'm just saying, even if they get a low seeded, like a 6th seed or something like that, they could be playing a really, really good team in the West. And that could, every round could potentially be a huge challenge for them.
Yeah, that is what I'm worried about for the Lakers. Like, if they are that 6th seed, they're going to have to play whoever the 1st seed is. And if they can get that first round W against whoever that team is, it might be smooth sailing, or they're just going to get all the other best teams for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I feel like I need to explain the play-in tournament, because I remember trying to explain it a while ago on a previous episode, and I was just completely wrong on how it worked. So basically, the 7th and 8th seeds at the end of the year will play each other, and the winner of that game just gets the 7th seed straight up. Doesn't matter. They just need to win one game. Whoever wins the 7-8 matchup, they get the 7th seed.
That's just a 1-game thing?
Then, yeah, it's just a 1 game.
Okay.
Whoever wins gets the 7th seed. Then the 9 and 10 seeds play, and whoever wins that game faces the loser of the 7-8 game, and then whoever wins that game is the 8th seed. So it's pretty simple, but yeah. So I mean, being the 7th, 8th seed, it's really you would really only have to play one extra game in the playoffs. So it's not the biggest thing, but it definitely, who knows, it could impact them And obviously, you know, if you lose that one game, you have one off night, and then you're really like your whole season is
That's the thing.
yeah, like even like you could potentially even as a 7 seed miss the playoffs. Like if you just have two bad games, two off nights, you could just be screwed.
Or somebody could be out for like just like a week or something, and then that'll affect everything.
Exactly. So it is nerve-wracking if you're the Lakers,
You know,
or if you're really any team.
this might have been LeBron plotting this whole time to get this guy Kuzma to pop off. If this is Kuzma's time, maybe LeBron knew this whole time Kuzma was going to have his shot.
Ain't nobody worried about no Kuzma.
We can really, if you really think about it, it's either going to have to be him, it's going to have to be that guy Schroeder, or it's going to have to be Drummond or Montrezl Harrell, who takes that big step up for the team to keep them on track for the playoffs. So
Yeah,
maybe this guy Kuzma starts popping off.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Justin, because today we got the news that Andre Drummond, after being bought out by the Cavs, is going to be joining the Lakers.
Yes, sir.
You know, I don't know really what, it's just like, I see why they signed him, but like, I don't know, like what, does he even fit really that well with that team?
I don't think he does. I don't think he fits with any team.
That's what I mean. Like, it just doesn't seem like he has a place.
I think I'll just say this. I feel like the Lakers thought they were going to get more from Marc Gasol than they've gotten so far. But we got to remember that this guy's like 35 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think for the period of time that LeBron and AD are out, Drummond might be like their best player.
Yeah.
For like a little bit. But I don't know, maybe.
It's tough.
I think Schroeder's definitely going to have to step up a lot. Kuzma, like you said, Justin, and then Drummond once he like understands the system there in Los Angeles. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, the Lakers last year, they just dominated teams with size, really. Like they were playing LeBron, Anthony Davis, and a center in most of their games, like in the playoffs. Like,
yeah,
that's a lot of size teams have to worry about.
This might be kind of a dumb question, but how many seasons has Drummond been in the playoffs? Because he played most of his career in Detroit. So like,
I think in Detroit he might have made the playoffs once or twice, maybe, and that's it.
I'm just trying to think of like
he made the playoffs twice, both first round exits in Detroit. He made it in the 2016 playoffs and the 2019 playoffs. Tough. Both were 4-0 sweeps.
Tough.
So, yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have that much playoff experience either. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it'll help. It definitely won't hurt their team, I don't think. But I don't know how much.
The thing about Andre Drummond is it's probably too late now because he's, 6, 7, 8 years into his career. But that guy, I think, could really change the way that he's used if he lost a lot of weight, because he's still going to know how to get rebounds. It's not like he's just going to forget that skill. And if he loses weight, he's going to be more of a lob threat, because if you look at my boy Clint Capella in Atlanta, he is playing great. He's averaging 15 and 15 basically in Atlanta, literally off lobs and offensive rebounds. So if Andre Drummond could shed a little bit of weight, get his athleticism up, him and LeBron, lobs here, there, everywhere, it don't matter. Because that's what he's doing with Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis actually has game, like he's got post up, he could shoot. Andre Drummond don't got nothing.
I think it's funny you say that, though, because their head coach, Frank Vogel, I feel like is most known for his – I mean, I don't know, maybe not most known, but a lot of people remember him from when he coached the Pacers a while ago. And, like, those teams always had, like, just the most big body front court. Like, think about it. Like, they would have Paul George, like, Danny Granger, David West, Roy Hibbert. Like, they had, like, the most big – like, they literally had the biggest front court every year basically in the whole league. I feel like he might just trying to replicate that. by getting Drummond.
And Frank Vogel with that Pacers team specifically, they were a very like half court oriented team. They were able to succeed in the half court. They had their plays ran. They had guys who just they could get it done. They didn't have to rely on fast breaks and scoring off of defense. So I think Frank Vogel actually for right now, he might be the perfect coach for this team.
Yeah. He's honestly doing a really good job with them. I think that whole coaching staff is really good.
I remember when they signed him and then had what's his face for the backup, Jason Kidd. Everybody was like, "Oh, they're just signing Frank Vogel as like a placeholder. If he starts sucking, they're gonna get rid of him and have Jason Kidd come in for him." But obviously, that hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Los Angeles. I honestly don't think they're gonna fall all the way to 7 because I think they're already like 5.5 games of the Spurs who are in 7th. So like, I really don't see them being like that bad because that would mean they would have to basically lose like their next like 8 games, like I mentioned, and then the Spurs would also have to go on a pretty long win streak. Like I just don't see them falling all the way to the playing game. But if that's the case and the standings were to stay the same, we would see like if the Lakers were to fall to 6 and the standings were to stay the same, we would see Clippers Lakers first round.
Oof.
That would be crazy.
That's what I'm saying. If they could beat that team first round, it could be smooth sailing the rest of the playoffs, or they could get matched up with Phoenix the next round, and then whoever like the Nuggets or whoever the next round after that.
Jeez. The AD's not going to come back like the AD we saw last playoffs. At least like when he first comes back, he's like.
Wait, what is that guy's injury again?
Calf strain. He injured his calf.
I'm saying like it's been months since like he's played. So once he comes back, it's not going to be like been playing all season. He's in playoff form.
Yeah.
I think that's going to have an effect on the team.
What about that guy? What about that guy Kevin Durant and your little team? That guy's not coming back to the playoffs. What about him? Is he going to be playoff ready?
He hasn't played. He didn't play in like 2.5 years. Different. He came back. He was MVP.
He's different. That's all he says. He's different.
I mean, I just said it.
Well, we can move on to another injury, a pretty big injury that took the basketball world by storm this past week. Hornets rookie LaMelo Ball fractured his right wrist in a game against the Clippers and is expected to miss the remainder of the season. I think there was like some reports that he might actually play near the end of the season, depending on how his like rehab goes. But I would imagine he's going to be done for the rest of the year. That said, following his injury, Timberwolves guard D'Angelo Russell tweeted at Anthony Edwards in quotations Rookie of the Year with a yawning emoji. So LaMelo, he was one of, if not the front runner for this year's Rookie of the Year award. But now that he's going to miss the rest of the season, do you guys think that he can still win it? I know this is probably like, I feel like first, before I even ask this, I feel like we need to like say why everyone was so upset with D'Angelo Russell. Like, I feel like it was just bad timing. Like, cause the whole like public couldn't process the injury even before he was like, he just made it about the award race, you know? Like, really, we should be like saying like, oh, this really sucks for LaMelo. This sucks for the Hornets. But he was like, oh, well, nah, it doesn't matter. My rookie should win Rookie of the Year. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
it is, you know, that's just how people think.
It's not that big a deal. Everybody's got to relax. Obviously, he's trying to have his boy win Rookie of the Year. Like,
I just think it was bad timing. Like, I feel like he should have waited until like Anthony Edwards had like a really good game again.
I mean,
At least.
he was on a streak of like 20
But like
point
he
game.
shouldn't. He literally did it like minutes after the news came out. I was like, all right, guy, what are you talking about? Like,
Nah, who cares?
Nah, I
Who
can't hate on
cares?
him for that. It's basketball. It's the NBA. You gotta have a little edge to yourself.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but
Who knows? Maybe he literally had no clue about the injury and genuinely just thought Edwards is the rookie of the year over
I mean,
LaMelo.
right.
he's not wrong. Is he
I
wrong?
Well, yeah. So that's the question. Do you guys think that LaMelo is still rookie of the year?
no. If Edwards stays healthy, I think it's him.
Well, I mean, you got to look at like the voting process. I still definitely think LaMelo is going to get votes just because he's LaMelo and media and all that. But ultimately, yeah, I think if Edwards can play the way he's been playing, especially recently, then it's going to be no debate.
Just look at it for like the last couple people who have been injured through their rookie year. Zion, he could have won it, but he didn't play until like 30 or 40 games into the season. Or it was like he only played the first 20 or something like that. And then Embiid, he was going to win rookie of the year, but everybody was like, "Oh, you only played 35 games." So I feel like that might be the same thing that happens with LaMelo. There's always going to be those people that are going to be, "Oh, not enough games played. You got injured halfway through the season." Yada yada yada.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, yeah, it's just that, yeah. I mean, if there was less competition this year, I think you would give it to LaMelo, but Edwards he's just gotten better every month, basically. He's averaging in the month of March, I think in 11 games in March, he's averaging 24 points per game, 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Like, that guy's putting up like near all-star numbers as a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite players already.
Yeah, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a huge problem.
You see that video when he got interviewed and the lady like cut him off like halfway through and he's like, "Oh shit."
That. Yeah, that was fun. But I feel like
clown.
2 other rookies that I want to highlight, even though I don't think they're going to win Rookie of the Year, I just want to talk about them again, as always. Tyrese Halliburton, who before he recently missed 4 games with a calf injury, but he came back, and then this past week, I'm pretty sure in 5 games, he averaged 16 points, 4 assists, 2.5 rebounds, and he's shooting above 50% from 3. The Kings, I mean, he's just like he can literally do everything. Like I tried to say earlier, the thing with him going to Sacramento is that if they need him to score, he can score. He put up a career high 28 points in a win against the Cavs, and then he also had games where he would record like, 5 or more rebounds, 5 or more assists, steals, blocks. Like he can just literally do anything you need him to do. And then Sadiq Bey is another player who I love on the Pistons. In March, he's averaging 13.6 points, 4.7 rebounds. I feel like he could so a lot of his points I think are coming off like spot up threes, but like if he can like figure out a way to be more comfortable handling the ball and like creating his own shot, he would become like an all-star player, I think, easily.
I think so.
Because that guy is just like, he's literally built like Jaylen Brown. He's like just as athletic, and he's like already a better shooter than Jaylen Brown was at this point in his career. So like if he can like learn how to like create his own shot, which he did a lot in college, so I'm surprised he's not doing it more in the NBA. But he's gonna be special, I think. The Pistons really got a steal with him.
I don't really know that much about Sadiq Bey. I haven't watched a second of a Pistons game this season, but I really do like Tyrese Halliburton. I really do like him. Toby, can you finally admit that you were sleeping on that guy?
Yeah, he did. I think he did a while ago.
But no, I just want to say about Halliburton, like I can see him in a few years down the line. He's going to be one of those guys that like you could just put him on any team and then he'll do whatever that team needs. Like he's like that glue guy that whatever the team is lacking, he's gonna try to fill that, if that makes any sense.
The Knicks just waived 2K Ferguson. We just got that guy trade deadline, and the Thunder released Austin Rivers, completely unrelated, but
you guys should pick him up.
Pick him up.
We just traded that guy.
I know, get it back.
Right. No, I think he's going to the Bucks. That's what I've been seeing. The Bucks are trying to sign him.
But just one last thing on these two. I saw earlier during the trade deadline that there was a report that the Pistons rejected a trade that would send Saddiq Bey to Sacramento for Marvin Bagley. And I was just like, oh my gosh, they almost were on the same team. That would have been nuts. Like, no, I'm telling you, if the Kings got Saddiq Bey, it'd be over. Because that team would be crazy.
Good move by the Pistons to not
pull the
trigger on that
definitely
trade.
A good move. It was definitely a good move for them. But, like, that would have been nuts. That would have been insane. Because that team would have,
All right. Before we move on, keep this Rookie of the Year conversation going. Do not sleep on Emmanuel Quickley, baby. Jorie,
of course,
you are right about him being a 2 guard rather than a shooting guard. When he is playing, I know it's just plus minus, but plus minus when he's playing at point guard is negative 1.4. When playing at shooting guard, plus 10.8. The guy put some. I've been saying when he's on that court, he only helps the team out. He only helps the Knicks when he's playing. And he's a great 3-point shooter. His inside the arc game needs a little bit of work because when that floater's not falling, it gets kind of ugly. But he shoots 37% from 3, and on catch and shoot threes, he shoots 44.3%. So if the Knicks could get a real ball, facilitating ball handling point guard and have Emmanuel Quickley at the 2, I think Emmanuel Quickley down the line can turn into like a CJ McCollum type guy.
Justin, the perfect guy. I've been saying it. Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball. You know, now that I think about it, Toby, Lonzo Ball might be the move we need to make.
I'm telling you, he would fit perfectly. Push the pace.
But I'm glad we didn't make a trade for him. I think I said it the last episode we were all together. Got to wait until the offseason. Sign him for that little bit of money that the Pelicans don't want to pay for him. We got him on the logs. Yeah,
I mean, I only said that he's a shooting guard more than a point guard, just because I just remember watching him at Kentucky and he was obviously could handle the ball, but they had another guy, Ashton Hagans, on that team that was just definitely the point guard for them. So I don't know, and they also had Tyrese Maxey then. So I mean, it's just
Quickly.
Oh yeah, that team was crazy.
Scary.
Those 3 guards were just took over games. It was literally insane to watch. But yeah, I mean, Quickly is definitely a steal.
Yeah,
definitely a steal. He should probably. I don't know if he'll make the all rookie first team. He might. I don't know if
I don't know if he'd be able to make it over LaMelo and all these other.
That's what
guards.
I'm saying. There's just so many guards that are so good. So, but he's definitely.
If he doesn't make either one, like RJ didn't, though, that is a shame.
Oh yeah,
RJ didn't make either
He'll definitely
one.
He'll definitely make at least the second team, maybe the first team, but I'll definitely make the second team. There's no way. Because there's no way there's 10 rookies better than that guy right now.
Well, there were 10 rookies better than RJ, and that guy's still.
Maybe. I think it also helps because he's doing it on a playoff team. The Knicks were one of the worst teams in the league last year. Now they're right in the middle of the playoffs. So it's definitely
4 seed at the moment. I checked before the show started. We're the 4 seed in the East.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's move on then, because let's talk about these Eastern Conference teams, because that's what we said we would do at the beginning. The Hawks, Justin, you this is what you wanted to mention. They won after firing their head coach Lloyd Pierce. They won 8 straight games under interim head coach Nate McMillan, and in that span, jumped from the 11th seed in the Eastern Conference to the 4th seed. But I think they've fallen out of the 4th seed. I mean, I think
They
they're
are
sixth
at
now.
6 now.
Yeah. So I mean, but the fact that they jumped from literally out of like the playing tournament to like right in the middle of the playoffs is pretty crazy in like 2 weeks. So I guess the question is, of those kind of like middle of the pack teams in the East, like I think there's definitely a separation between like the Nets, Sixers, Bucks. But like everyone else, who do you think is like the best team of that whole mix right now?
Well, hold on. Let me just say a little something about the Hawks. Let me get you with some facts. There's 9 players on that team averaging double digits. 9 players on the team averaging double digits. All of the young guys, all of my young guys, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, everybody's developing nicely. You asked me this on the trade deadline episode, Jorie, that I didn't come up with. I didn't think of it, but the Hawks should have been a team that made a move. Honestly, they shouldn't have traded Rondo. They shouldn't have traded Rondo.
Why not?
Maybe they should have. Maybe they got coerced into it by the Clippers. Maybe the Clippers were like, "Come on, make this trade." But the Hawks need veteran presence. If the Hawks had a veteran presence off anywhere, starting lineup, bench, doesn't matter. If they had somebody that knows what it's like in the playoffs, this team is going to be making some deep playoff runs in the next couple of years.
Well, that's
The
what Lou Will is
Hawks.
for.
Yeah, but that guy doesn't do nothing. He's just there to put up points and vibe. Like,
Yeah, I
he
don't
doesn't
think
matter.
that's. I agree with you, Justin. I don't think. At least they could have gotten like a couple picks or
Yeah.
swaps or something. I don't know if getting Lou Will was the right move. But in terms of other teams in the Eastern Conference, you mentioned those middle of the pack teams. Honestly, I would either have to give it to the Knicks or I'm gonna have to give it to the Pacers.
Really?
Wow. I'm
See,
surprised.
I was going to say the Knicks. I really was going to say the Knicks, but right now we're dealing with a lot of injuries and people being in and out of the lineup. So I don't know how I feel about the Knicks. But besides them, I think the Hawks and Boston have the best chance. And Toby disappears. I think the Hawks and Boston have the best chance to make it into the playoffs or make it deep into the playoffs out of all these teams. Boston,
Yeah.
just because we've seen what they've done. I don't know what's going on with them right now, but we've seen what Boston is capable of doing. And yeah, like I said, Atlanta, they're on a roll right now. If they can keep this momentum going, should have made a move at the deadline, but if they could keep this going, I think we'll see Atlanta get into the second, third round, maybe.
Wow. This year, you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough.
I don't know.
I don't know if they're ready for that.
Depends who they get matched up with. Because you know what? I'm going to say it right now. Even if we are healthy, these Knicks, we're getting pumped out in the first round.
That's not true.
Really?
That's not
If
true.
we
What
went
if
up,
it's a
I think if
4-5
we
what
went
if
up against Boston or Atlanta, I think they would beat us. Yeah.
Really?
I don't think so. I
I
don't
don't
think
know,
so,
man.
Justin.
Because you're really like you guys basically everyone in that whole tier outside of like the Celtics really have like the same amount of playoff experience on their roster. Like a lot of those guys have barely like a lot of their stars have like never played
Yeah.
a playoff game. Like I don't know. If it's a 4-5 matchup with like the Hornets or like the Hawks, I think the Knicks would be able to beat them.
I think the Knicks could
do.
beat the
I think
Hornets.
the Knicks
I think the Knicks
Yeah.
could beat every one of those teams. Maybe they could beat Atlanta, but I don't think they're beating Boston. I don't think they can do it.
I don't know. Boston got rid of Daniel Tice. That was just random. And they got Evan Fournier, but like, I don't know what he's going to do for them. I don't understand the Celtics like at all. They just continuously
Yeah.
get wings. Like when they already have two of like the most promising wings in the entire league. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then they have, Kemba, who's been
They
so
should have traded
inconsistent
Kemba
and
at the
injured.
deadline. They should have traded him to the Knicks.
The
Yeah,
Knicks.
they're the team that should have tried to get Vucevic, I think. If they had gotten
Oh
Vucevic at the
man,
trade
yeah.
deadline, they would probably be like, I mean, at least
Yeah,
top 3 team
yeah.
in the Eastern Conference.
I'd say,
Fine.
yeah, I'd agree if Boston had Husovic. I think that would bump them into that top 3 seed argument.
Yeah.
Can I quickly mention another team that, as you said, I think are in that top 3? I'm gonna say maybe not top 3, maybe closer to top 4, top 5, but still in the mix of everybody. I'm gonna say the Miami Heat getting Oladipo, which is something I wanted to mention at the beginning. Oladipo, he just fits the. I say this every time, but the Heat have such a great culture. He just fits in with all those other guys that they already have.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about on the trade line episode. Just that guy, Victor Oladipo, really, that was a great. Most of the trades, I think, on the deadline, the Aaron Gordon trade, perfect fit. Oladipo to the Heat, perfect fit. I mean, Vucevic to the Bulls, that's not a bad fit, but it's just like, why the Bulls? Like, he should. I think a better team should have made a move for him.
Yeah, no, the Heat are definitely like, I think getting Oladipo. But the thing is, they're the 8th seed right now. They have to move up the standings. They don't want to face the Sixers or the Nets in the first round. Like, they don't.
Well, I
wanna do
mean,
that.
they're only 2 games behind the Knicks, who are at 4 seed.
Like, I think if the Heat are really going to make another run like they did last year, they got to get to at least the 6th seed. So
Probably.
that they have to face like Milwaukee in the first round or like one of those teams we were just talking about.
But let's think. They can, in my opinion, they can beat the Bucks. They could beat the Sixers.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think they
I feel like we're sleeping on the Sixers like a little too much. Like, I would not be
I
surprised.
know those Sixers are nice.
I know they're
be
good.
surprised if it's Sixers Nets are in the Eastern Conference Finals. That would be very.
I think we talked about this, Jorie. I think that I said that out of all the teams in the East, the team that has the best chance to beat your Nets, Toby, are the Heat. I think the Heat have the best chance at beating. I think the Heat
are the Bucks.
I don't know why. They just have the best chance at beating every team. The Heat have like just a lineup like constructed to be matched up with
defense,
all these other teams.
Yeah, and they're just like the deepest team, like probably in the entire league. Like at this moment, like they literally have.
How did the Rockets not take Hero off their hands?
That was ridiculous. That was actually ridiculous. I was like, there's no way they didn't trade Hero or Kendrick Nunn. Like, it doesn't make sense. And then they,
I don't know if you guys heard of this one, but apparently they were trying to get Dinwiddie too. They sent a trade to the Nets. They were offering, I think they offered Kendrick Nunn and a couple other pieces, Avery Bradley and somebody else for Dinwiddie.
I mean, I like what they got now though with Oladipo.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be tough for any team to beat because he wants to be there. That's the thing. Like, I feel like we haven't seen like a motivated Oladipo in a while.
Yeah.
And him next to Jimmy Butler is just clamps galore.
And Bam locking up the middle. Like that's why I think they have a shot at beating anyone.
And they got sharpshooters too.
Because they literally can do it. They can play against any lineup that they want.
Can't play against the Nets. I'm sorry.
They literally can. They literally can.
They have the
better
one
than
thing
anyone
that the Nets don't have. They have an actual center. They have an actual guy, like a big guy.
And
they have people who can play defense and guard your best players.
Literally.
No. Okay, no.
Like
Jimmy Butler is going to be giving that guy KD.
Any 3 of those players. Oladipo could probably guard. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to completely like eliminate one of the 3 players. Like, that's not how that works. But I'm like, if you were to pick a player in the league that you would want defending a Durant or a James Harden, would it not be like Jimmy Butler?
Okay, but you got to remember, everybody's pissed at us because we formed a God Squad. So, like, LaMarcus Aldridge coming off the bench, even though he's like 36, he's going to be getting buckets. Blake Griffin's going to be catching lobs. Like,
got Precious. They got
we
Precious.
got shooters on top of shooters. On like,
hey, they got shooters too. They got Hero. They got Duncan Robinson. They got Goran Dragic.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
The
cool.
veteran.
They could score 120. We're going to score 140. It's just the way it's going to be.
I don't know, man.
Kobe, I think you're sleeping on this Heat team. I really
I'm
think
not
you
sleeping.
are.
I'm not.
And I think you're sleeping on the Sixers.
The Sixers are
though-
the biggest competition for the Nets in my opinion.
I actually
Yeah.
think it's the opposite. I think the Sixers are the only team that won't be able to beat the Nets. Even
No, I
though
think the
the
Nets- I
Sixers,
think-
I
I
think
think-
are the best team in the East. I think the Nets can beat the Sixers.
I think the Sixers really have what it takes because Ben Simmons, again, one of the most versatile defenders in the league.
No.
Joel Embiid has, before injured, obviously playing at MVP level. Like, no one on the Nets is stopping Embiid. I'm sorry. You cannot tell me DeAndre Jordan is defending that man. Like, that's just not happening.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
not.
And Tobias Harris as a third option is like been way better than people give him credit for. Like, I remember when I'm pretty sure they gave him like a max contract. And I'm like, what are they doing giving Tobias Harris a max contract? Like, he's not even that bad. And he's definitely lived up to that this year. So, and they just got George Hill in a trade, another veteran guy who always somehow finds his way onto like a contending team. I was looking that up. Like the last like 3 years, every time at the trade deadline or around like some part of the season, he's been traded to like one of the best teams in the league. Like before this, he was on the Bucks, obviously. And then before that, he was on the Cavs with, LeBron going to the finals every year. And then even before that, he was on the Pacers. So like that guy knows what he's doing in the playoffs. That guy's been in a lot of heated playoff games. And like if that's your backup point guard, that's what you want. That's what you want.
And they got Seth Curry.
Seth Curry. Shake
that
Milton,
guy Tobias Harris can stretch the floor. He's a great shooter.
Dwight Howard, who just won a ring.
He's been playing good too off the bench.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's not necessarily a shoo-in that the Nets are going to be there, but I feel like the Nets are definitely the favorite.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Dude, it's really every team that like is in the playoff race like has a chance. They really do all have a chance. Like whether you believe it or not, these Mavericks, they're at the 8th seed right now. The Mavericks could really like be a problem in the playoffs.
West Coast is closer than the East Coast is going to be this year.
I actually disagree. I think the East is going to be closer because it's down to 4 teams, where the West, it goes down to like the 6 or 7, like either 6 or 7. Like,
all right, out of the East,
I think that's like saying.
3 teams that are most likely going to be in the finals.
But you don't know though. Out of the West, like, I mean, I don't know.
It could be like 6 different teams in the West.
Yeah, but like, is anybody besides the Lakers really going to make it to the finals? Like,
yes, dude. Oh my god.
Like, it's gonna be tight in the playoffs, but like, is anybody making to the finals other than the Lakers?
Yes.
I feel like we just view LeBron as like this like invincible force that's just never gonna miss. I mean, he literally is, but like this is, if there's a season of a career, like, and I feel like it's okay, like if he loses.
It is.
I feel like everyone thinks like it's gonna be the end of the world if LeBron doesn't make it to the finals like one time, because like as if that'll like destroy his career. But I mean, the Clippers, they can get there. I think the Nuggets, with the addition of Aaron Gordon, like we were just saying,
it makes the Nuggets a better playoff team, but it doesn't make them a finals team. You're not getting to.
They were literally right there against.
You're not even
Lakers
making it to the conference finals.
And they're better. They're literally better. Every single player on that team got better, and they're gonna have Will Barton.
The Suns are the best team in the league, and they're not even making it out of the second round. Like, I promise you, they're not even making it to the conference finals.
How do you have a MVP center in Jokic, Jamal Murray, who literally
not even an all-star,
playing out of his mind,
not even an all-star,
MPJ, who's playing now in his second season, who's gotten better since
Okay, he's
the
nice.
bubble.
FHA is kind of nice.
Aaron Gordon, who they just acquired.
Hasn't done
You have
anything.
Monte Morris off the bench. Will Barton, who didn't even play in last year's playoffs, now starting for you. Like, you cannot tell me that this team that was 3 games away from making the finals is not a threat to beat the Lakers.
You're not even making it to the conference finals.
Especially if they have home court advantage. Like, if the Lakers are a lower seed than the Nuggets and they have to face them in Denver for the majority of the series, like, come on.
It's going to be, what do you mean majority? They're only playing 2 games in Denver.
If
They're
it's
going to win. They're going to win the first 2 games in Denver.
they're going to
win the next 2 games in LA. What do you mean?
This is nonsense.
That's why I'm saying the East is harder, because we all think that the Nets are going to make it, but are they really going to make it? Because they're a bunch of bozos. First time they've ever played together. It's going to be for 30 games.
It doesn't matter, dude. James Harden is pretty much an MVP. And I'm not just saying that, like.
I mean, he is if he wasn't on this team.
But he's played like a couple games with KD. And Kyrie's
that guy's a softie. What is that guy even doing? There's no way that guy's actually injured. He's got to be just sitting just so he could be resting. There's no way.
I disagree.
Probably what it is.
I mean,
it's a little bit of both. I also, like, wouldn't you rather just have him be as healthy as possible, like not even risk potentially injuring himself again?
Yeah, but these clowns could be.
Like, they're literally playing for nothing right now.
Exactly. Like, just have that guy go out there and just destroy every other team's hope and dreams of making it anywhere in the playoffs.
Well, just wait to unleash him until the playoffs. Like, you're literally, like, these are just meaningless regular season games at this point. Like, you're not going to be lower than a 3.
I know you hate us.
I really hate every team in the NBA that is in the Knicks. Nobody else deserves to make it to the finals except for the Knicks. We've been going through so much. Everything we've gone through everything you think of. Terrible owner, terrible coach. Phil Jackson screwed the whole team. Got Carmelo Anthony to leave. Worst team in the league. Got screwed out of Zion. Got screwed out of Kyrie and KD. Mitchell Robinson can't stay healthy for nothing.
Justin, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. It's just the Knicks. It's just that's what they are.
Yeah. Haven't won anything since the 70s. We haven't won anything in 50 years.
You guys got something good going on, though. I like what you guys got going on.
Yeah,
well, like you said, we shall see. Is there anything else you guys want to mention? I think that's really all the segments.
Can I mention something?
Go ahead.
Most underrated trade asset, since I wasn't in the trade discussion with you guys. I got to go with Rondo on the Clippers, because everybody knows playoff Rondo is he's just a different person. Like,
can we stop talking about playoff Rondo as if he exists?
Justin, but it's true though. On the Lakers,
he was on the Lakers in the playoffs. He was
going off.
And he was on the Celtics in the playoffs. Has he been to the playoffs in any other team that he's been a part of?
On that Pelicans playoff team that 1 year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, he's definitely a different breed in the playoffs, dude.
He really though.
He is though.
And also when he played with the Bulls that one season with him and like D Wade, that was crazy. I remember those Bulls. That was nuts because I think they won a series that year. And nobody thought they would.
But
they
coming
didn't
off the bench for the Clippers. It's like a whole new starting 5. Like, it doesn't matter who the players are. He just will know how to like get buckets with them.
Think about this, Toby. That Clippers team, for their guards, have Patrick Beverley and Rondo as their guards. Imagine having to be getting guarded by both of them all night long for a whole series.
Yeah, that's tough.
And Kawhi and Paul George
on the wings. It's really Clamp City over there.
A lot of length that they got in Los Angeles. We'll see.
I think I said that too, Toby. I think the Rondo trade was pretty underrated. Even though I just said I don't like it from the Hawks side, the Clippers really
plus you got to keep in mind Lou Will wasn't doing nothing. Like, he really fell off the past couple of years, I feel like.
At least this year, especially. This year he was just not playing good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
That's all I really wanted to say.
This was fun. This was a solid episode. I don't even know. I don't even know what there's gonna be now that the regular season's kind of winding down.
Something's gonna happen.
I'm excited though for the playoffs.
We'll be able to see if any of these trades were worth it or not.
Yeah.
Because what did we say, that Miami's at the A seed right now?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Victor Oladipo might not help this team at all. I find that hard to believe, but he could really just be there, just taking up space. And Vucevic might make these Bulls one of the best teams in the league, and obviously not. But
we don't know.
Vucevic might be helping these clowns out a lot.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see them. I'm probably gonna try and watch this, at least a little bit of this Nuggets game, because I want to see Aaron Gordon.
On a final note, I just want to say, as much as I'm excited for the NBA playoffs in about, I guess, like a month and a half, the opening day MLB season starts on Thursday, so I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Huge Yankees fan, so
too bad they're not doing nothing this year.
Yo, chill, Jorie.
This year's different. This year's like.
Yeah, but you've been saying that for like the last 3 years.
I hear every year.
Are these Yankees really about it? Because I don't follow baseball, but I still say I'm a Yankees fan because I like New York teams. But are these Yankees really about it? Because
we made some moves. We made some
We traded for that guy, Giancarlo Stanton, and that guy hasn't done nothing since he's been on the team.
He was injured for so long, but
everyone
we just ramped up our pitching staff. We got Corey Kluber.
No clue who that is.
He won the Cy Young Award, but I'll just leave it at that.
We'll see.
Pitching staff is different, but
no, I like that. Let's go Bronx Bombers, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on a final note, your Eagles suck.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
And on a final note.
Oh my god.
Let's go Knicks, baby.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Shout out Emmanuel quickly.
Yeah, that's where we'll end it. Well, all right. This is fun. Until next week. This has been episode 15. We'll see you, boys. From myself, Jorie Mickens, and my two co-hosts, Justin Sadovi and Chris Tobias, thank you so much for listening to that episode of the Fullcourt Report NBA show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at FullCReport, on Instagram at the.fullcourt.report. Like and comment on this video and subscribe so you never miss a minute of action.